Well, 1970 was the year I arrived back in Chicago, which was interesting for me because, you know, I went to high school here and everything. I left here in 1960 out of high school. And now, so it's 10 years later, and I'm back in Chicago. So I'm the new guy in Chicago. I'm this new Richard Steele guy, you know, the real Steele on the radio. And it was quite a thrill to be back home, you know. And I had a chat. I had an opportunity to be in the big city. I'd always thought when I got to be in radio, I'd want to work in New York because I used to live in Brooklyn. I was born in Brooklyn. And I used to think the epitome in radio is to work New York radio. And I had forgotten how important Chicago was until I got back here and I recognized this is the big city. Chicago's an interesting town in that the people who are on the radio who are African American are well known in the community, whether they're strictly music personalities or whether they're involved in politics and community activities. You're sort of co-opted into the whole structure of being part of the community. And so I was just as accepted and recognized at Operation Push as I would be at a concert featuring the major act of the day. You're part of the community. Part of my evolution into being more involved in the community had to do with the fact that there was always some interaction. We had people at the radio station. There was a guy, when I came to WJPC, there was a guy who used to work there. He had a talk show during the day that was sort of in the middle of the music programming. His name was Lou House. He later changed his name to Wali Sadiq, but he was an activist and very aggressive and very much involved with the community and spoke his mind, didn't hold back. And so I'd hear him every day. Over the years, as it relates to journalism, I worked at a station one time. I was doing a talk show, and the general manager allowed me to do a commentary. And I didn't have anybody editing me. It was called That's Deep. You know, the idea being about something that would take place in the community, and I said, wow, well, that's deep. And it was sponsored for a while. The guy who was general manager, Marv Dyson, allowed me the freedom to do this without being edited. You know what I mean? And I did that wisely. I mean, I didn't take advantage of it, but it was an opportunity for me to express some things that I thought about what was happening in the community. And so, along the way, I gradually gained some skills and some access to be able to say things that were directly connected to the black community's progress or lack thereof. Well, I've got one thing that's major on my bucket list. I always wanted to be an actor early on, aside from radio. And I always thought to myself, I can do that. I could be an actor. I mean, I can emote.